Joining me for more on this is George P. Bush, Texas General Land Office Commissioner. Thanks for jumping on with us this morning. By definition, one of the key missions of the Texas General Land Office is helping Texans recover from natural disasters. What is the current status of the recovery efforts happening in that state right now?
Well, currently we're still in first response and search and rescue phase of the mission. As the governor had mentioned earlier on the program, lives are still endangered, and so the state's resources, federal, with our county and local partners throughout the state, are rescuing as many lives as possible. Red Cross, along with cities, counties, and the state of Texas, have set up evacuation shelters throughout the state with more than enough capacity, as FEMA had indicated, with 30,000 evacuees right now sheltered. But our agency is more involved with the painstaking process of years of rebuilding that it will take to rebuild many of these communities. We managed the block grant for Katrina, for Rita, and for other affected areas.
So perhaps you could put this into
Texas.
Perspective for us then, because you know, we're looking at FEMA's efforts here, and as far as perspective is concerned, looking back at Katrina, what are we looking at as far as recovery efforts? You're talking about the months and the years ahead. What does that timeline look like?
Well, I mentioned earlier today that this will be a generational effort. Our agency's involved with the rebuilding efforts after Ike and Dolly that hit our state in '09, and we're still in the process of rebuilding many of these communities in Galveston that are actually being inundated right now as we speak. And so this will be a long effort to help these communities. The infrastructure redevelopment that will be needed to get treatment plants back online, say in Corpus Christi, which is offline. And so getting basic utilities to many of these stricken communities begins right now. So we'll be working with our federal partners as part of that, but that's why we're asking our county and local partners throughout the state that have been hit to document as much as you can. One of the lessons learned from Mike and Dolly is that we didn't document many of our expenditures and damage as much on the front end, and that's why we weren't able to get as many reimbursements from the federal government last time.
Energy firms, this is a major concern. As you've already noted, they have to brace for the continued fallout from this. It will be a lengthy effort and a lengthy process, as you are detailing, but as many of us know, Texas is home to a lot of the energy that is produced and used not just in the state but the country and internationally. How are those energy firms bracing for the fallout of this?
Well, a quarter of the nation's petroleum refining process is located on the Texas Gulf Coast. We've probably lost about a million barrels a day of refining in the last few days. A few of the refineries have shut down. Shell and Exxon just announced on the Houston Ship Channel. So roughly about a quarter of the capacity of the state's refining process is offline right now, and that could take several days. Many of those refineries are now assessing damage as we speak. But many of the thoroughfares that deliver gasoline, diesel, and other petroleum products up to other parts of the country are still online. We've seen a little bit of an increase in gas prices and diesel, but so far so good. But many of those assessments are still taking place in the Gulf Coast. What
sort of economic hit could we see from that?
Well, if you don't include the property damage that some estimates put at tens of billions of dollars, we are looking right now at a quarter of the offshore oil and gas production being down as well. So we're talking about a loss of several $billion. The Houston Ship Channel, which is one of the most active ports in the entire country, if not the world, has been shut in, and that's billions of dollars of lost economic activity, not to mention the Corpus port, which exports more crude oil than any other port in the country. So we're looking at a devastating impact to the nation's economy and to life and limb here in Texas.
And you know, as you're talking, we continue to show obviously the images of this weather that continues to push upward, and many more inches of rain are expected. Great to get your insight there. George P. Bush, thanks for the update.
You got it.